Hi guys, Little Lady here. Right, so today is part one of my Christmas preparations. So the first thing I'm going to do is the base for my gravy, and then I'm going to do my roast potatoes, parsnips, carrots, and if I have time I'm going to get my mincemeat on the go as well. So all of this is going to go into my son's freezer. It's 3 weeks before Christmas, and then we'll just take everything out the day before, let it defrost, and it's all done. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my gravy on, so I'll just bring you down. So the first thing I've got is a pack of chicken wings. So you get so much flavour out of these. These are amazing and cheap. I've got an onion. I'm going to put in a couple of cloves of garlic. Got some limp celery, but it can use it up. It's just for this. A couple of carrots, and in here I've got 9 peppercorns, and as it's Christmas gravy and we'll be having it with stuffing, I'm going to put a few sage leaves in there as well. Right, so let's get on with it. Right, so before I get chicken on this board, I'm just going to do my veggies. Oh, nearly went on the floor, caught it. So with these, take off these little leaves, because these ones are bitter, and the last thing you want is some bitterness in your gravy. Just get off the end bits there, and I'm literally just going to pack them up. It's the flavour we want. We're not going to actually eat this, so get that in there. Take the little end bit off, but I'm not going to peel these for this. And again, just chunk it all up. Straight in there. Now with the onion, I'm just gonna, I'm not even gonna take the skin off. Well, it comes off, it comes off. But, so just see if it all falls off. Just them in there. Them in there. Get a couple of cloves of garlic out. Now if you do your shopping at Lidl's, oh look at that, I would recommend getting these, the loose garlic, because the cloves are a lot bigger than the ones that you would get in the packs of 3. I'm just going to, in fact, no, I haven't got the strength, so I'm just going to cut it in half just to get the flavour out. Right, so I'm going to get rid of this mess, and then we'll get on with the chicken wings. Right, so we'll get on with the chicken wings. Sorry, I have got the washer on in the background there. So I'm just going to pop the peppercorns and the sage in there, and then we'll get on with these. Right, what we'll do with these, got the wing tips, and then cut them down. And then on here, just crack through the bone. Want to get all the flavour out. So I'll just continue to do this, guys, and then I'll come back to you. Right, so that's all of them in there. I've gotten rid of all of the dirty things. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of oil in. Just a little bit of vegetable oil. I mean, I have got the duck fat and everything that's in the fridge. However, because we're going to be doing that with the potatoes and everything, I thought I'd just use a little bit of vegetable oil for this. And then what we're going to do is just get our hands in. I'm all covered. So I've got the oven preheated at 200, which is pretty hot, and I'm going to roast these for about an hour. So just quickly wash my hands, get that in the oven, and then we'll get on with doing something else. Right, so the next thing we're going to get on to is the roast potatoes. Now I buy these, I know they're not environmentally friendly, but I think you've got so many dishes to do. I don't have a dishwasher on Christmas. You know, we've got the whole family coming round, apart from the youngest son who wants to spend his son, don't want to take him away from his toys. But we'll see them in the morning anyway. But like I say, I digress. So I use these to actually do them in, roast them in, and then they just go in the bin. So I've got them to one side. I have some potatoes here that need using up anyway, so I might as well do this and freeze it. Now if you buy the bags of frozen roast potatoes, which is fine, I've done that before, what they do is they parboil them, or steam them I think they do in the factories, and then they cover them in whatever fat they're using, oil. I mean, I know a lot of them say beef dripping now, and you can get goose fat ones, but mostly it's vegetable oil with a little bit of beef dripping or a little bit of goose fat. So I am going to use the duck fat that I've got in the fridge. I'm going to boil them with chicken. I've got these there, they were free from Lidl's, off the Lidl app. Not too flavourful I think, but that would be great just to do the potatoes in. I've got a bowl here just to put in my peelings, so I don't have to keep going backwards and forwards to the bin. So it's just a matter of peeling these down, and I'll come back to you because the washer's making a hell of a noise. Right, so I've peeled them all. Now I like to cut mine in 3, just like so. I have my pan here ready. I'm just going to put them, all these edges will give you the crispier bits. It's a reason why it's an old Nigella thing that actually that was a small one. Just cut this one in half. Now I wouldn't go to this much trouble like for the gravy or anything every week or the foil trays, but anything that's going to make Christmas easier, then to me that is brilliant. I want to spend time with my family on Christmas Day. And see my youngest son, his partner, and the baby, well, babies will be 2 in January, Christmas morning. But I don't have to rush back. I'll put the goose in to cook while we're away, and then that'll just be happily doing. I've got all of these all prepped. Now the second part 2 will be me stuffing, pigs in blankets, stuff like that. So I've got that there, and as usual with me guys, got boiling water. I know what to say, anything above the ground, boiling water, under the ground, cold water. I've never had a problem, never ever, so I'm not going to change the way I do it now. So boiling water out of the kettle, pop the stock cube in. Now there's a lot of salt in these stock cubes, so I won't be putting much salt in as well. Just get that in. Mix that about. I mean, I know I could have put it in there beforehand, but I didn't know how much water I would need, and I didn't want to have too much water in here that I had to tip some out once that was in there. So I'm going to put a little bit of salt in. Oh, my hand's shaking a bit. And get them onto parboil for about 10, maybe 15 minutes. So we'll get them on there, and we'll start with the carrots and the parsnips. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my carrots. Now the carrots are a lot harder than what the parsnips are. So I am going to parboil that. Parboil these. Get them in there. I'm just going to quickly. But I'm not going to parboil the parsnips because they will cook down, roast down lovely in the oven on their own. There. Down a bit further because there's a little gnarly bit there. I'll get that off with a knife. I'm not doing a huge amount of veg because I tend to find the kids will eat the veg when they come to see us. However, it's all of the trimmings that they like. So I'm just going to whiz through this. And I did what a viewer told us to do. I put a cloth underneath here. Over there. So Now, I don't know about you, but we don't like massive chunks of roasted vegetables, so I'm going to cut these down, probably into 3 or 4. So them one's done. Right, so I'm just going to carry on cutting these down and I'll come back to you. Right, so that's all of the carrots done. I've gotten all of this out of those 2 big carrots. So that's more than enough for us on Christmas Day. And I'm going to parboil these probably for about 6 or 7 minutes. And then we'll get on with the parsnips. Right, so I've drained the potatoes. They've had their time. So this is how I do mine. I've got some of this duck fat here. I've been in the fridge. So I'm going to put them into, I'm going to put it into this hot pan, which I've just taken the potatoes out of. They'll never come off. There we go. And a little bit more. Now the way I do it saves you having to put it in the pan and rough them up and everything, so then I just put the potatoes over the top and I stir them around so they're all coated nicely in the goose fat. And as you can see, it roughs them up as well, but just not as aggressive. And all lovely and cooked, covered to one side. And then we have our foil trays. Just pour them all on there, all a little bit. There we go. And just move them around so they're in one layer. Now as soon as they, make the best roasties, you can see them like that now. You can smell the chicken stock on there as well. So as soon as they are properly cooled down, I'll cover them with foil, and then it'll go off to my son's to go into the freezer for Christmas Day. And that's that prep done. So I'll get rid of that board because that's just for heat. Get this board back. So I've done the parsnips. The carrots are done. I'm just going to drain those now. Oops. Okay. Then drain there. And we'll get on with doing the parsnips. So I'm doing the same as I did the carrots. With these ones, the end bits are a lot smaller, so I'm just going to cut them like that. That's my wash I just finished, thank goodness. And let's cut them down. Might actually cut so they're all about the same size. And these will just roast nicely. Now I was given a lovely present off my neighbour yesterday, which was some whiskey marmalade, handmade, and I was debating whether to use that instead of honey on these. However, I know the kids prefer the honey. Well, I know they like the honey, and I'd rather make sure that whatever they're going to have is going to be what they like. It was about 3 years ago we decided to get, they were from Lidl's, these already prepared parsnips, honey glazed parsnips, frozen, and oh well, that's a good shortcut for Christmas. Made them. They were the only things left from dinner, nobody liked them. So it's not a lot of trouble to do it like this. So now out of those 2 parsnips, got those. And I have the carrots behind here. That's just 2 carrots and 2 parsnips. So I went to greengrocers and I got them rather than buy a big bag, which I didn't need. So as they're all going on the same tray, don't mind mixing them up a little bit. Oops. get a wooden spoon, get them all covered. And I'm going to sprinkle some salt on them. Any bits of fat that hasn't melted on there will as soon as they go into the oven on Christmas Day. And just got some runny honey, and you only need about a tablespoon for all of these. So I'm just going to sprinkle these on there. See, that's about enough. Give them another little coating. And again, once these are cooled down completely, we will have the tin foil on the top and go in the freezer, and that's another job done for Christmas Day. And that's only taken a few minutes, well, let's say about 40 minutes altogether to do. Start the gravy off, to do the roast potatoes, the roast parsnips and carrots, and there we go. And that is nearly half of your dinner sorted. So I'm going to give it, I think it's about another 20 minutes left with the things in the oven. So I'm just going to get them out and give them a bit of a shuffle. And as you can see, they're all roasting up lovely. I'm just going to shuffle them around. Let's get some more colour on these on the top. It smells lovely. Like I say, this is not something I would do for gravy every week, but again, it's Christmas. You can't treat yourselves at Christmas, when can you? Right, so we'll have 20 minutes on them, get some more colour on them, and then we'll come back to you. Right, so this has had an hour in total. Just going to give it a squeeze around. Nice and roasted. Oh, a bit in a second. All this bit on the bottom is all flavour. So what we do now is first thing I do is get a hold of that one that I've just dropped. There we go. And then we'll get a couple of dessert spoons full of flour in here. Get my glove back on. Red hot this. Just mix that in with the juices that are there. Right, so I've got a kettle that's boiled, and I'm just going to put some water in there, about a kettle full. Right, and now what we do is we just let that simmer on the top for another hour. And that is your base gravy done. So I'll just make sure it comes back up to turn the gas on. All these roast bits of chicken and everything will all go into that gravy base. What I'll do is when it's back up to a simmer, I'll pop the lid on, turn it down and just let it go, like I say, for about an hour. It'll pick up all them bits off the bottom and you've got a lovely chicken gravy that you can just put over now. But on Christmas Day, what I will do is I will put all of the meat juices that will cook into this base gravy and warm it back up. Again, this is going to go into the freezer and that'll be done, so we'll come back in about an hour's time. Right, so that's it all done now. I've let it cool down a little bit just so it's easier to work with, to hold up to this. And now I've got a bowl and a strainer, and I'm just going to strain this through here. Oh, if I can get it heavy. There, like that. Just going to strain this through. And then make sure you get every bit out. And there we have it. So that's your chicken stock to start with your gravy. Hasn't thickened up as much as I'd like, but I can thicken it up on the day. Now what I'll do is once that's fully cooled, that'll go into a tub and into the freezer for Christmas Day. I might run it through the little I save into the thing just for them last few bits, but it's still quite warm, so what I'll do is I'll put that to one side and let it cool down, tidy up a bit, and we'll get on with the last job of the day, and that's the mincemeat. Right, so for the classic mincemeat, I've got 100 grams of raisins, sultanas and currants on a different order. I have an apple which I'm going to grate, the zest and juice of an orange, the zest of a lemon. I have 100 grams of butter, 100 grams of sugar and 100 grams of dates. Now we do have this left over from the Christmas cake, so I'm going to put that in. You don't have to, and some cranberries. Might as well get it used up. I'll not use it for anything else, so I'm just going to put them in with this as well. And it's another dried fruit, so it's going to be delicious. Right, so we'll get on with it. Right, so I'm just going to, all you do, it's as easy as anything, this. I'm going to put what's left of the cranberries in there. That's them done now. The rest of the dried mixed fruits that I did for the Christmas cake. Put them in there. There's a little bit mixed peel in there, which I couldn't get for this, by the way, but it's completely up to you. You don't really need it. You know, use any fruit that you like. Just put it all in. All in. There we go. It's as easy as that. And then goes in the dates, the sugar, the butter, and need the grater for the apple. So I'm just going to grate this apple, put that into there. Skin on, everything, don't bother peeling it. Right, so I'm just going to grate this and I'll come back. Right, so that's the apple. That's all grated in there. So I'm going to use this one now and I want to zest the lemon. The lemon done, and now the orange. So I'm just going to carry on zesting this, guys. It's going to take a little while. Oh, dear me. Flipped the kettle on when I didn't even want to. So now the juice of the lemon. Like that. The other half. I think it's going to be far too small to do that with that. So all I'm going to do is get a fork and get the juice out. I'm going to bring this up to a boil and let that simmer for about 30 minutes. Oh, pip dropped in. And another one. There we go. It's starting to come out lovely now. And there's another couple of pips. Get your hands in there, squeeze it out. Try and get as much of the juice out as you possibly can. Right, so like I say, I'm going to put this on to simmer, let it simmer for about 30 minutes, and then I'll bring you back. Right, so I just thought I'd let you have a little look. The butter's all melting and it's starting to come up to a simmer. Just doing it nice and gently. Just let that come up. Like I say, I will come back in about 30 minutes and we'll have another look at it and we'll start to jar it up. Right, so that's been simmering for 30 minutes and as you can see, it's looking lovely. So the next thing we need to do is go back with the brandy. Now if you don't want to put brandy in, if it's going to be for the kids or anything like that, just use a little bit of apple juice or more orange juice, whatever. So I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of brandy. A nice mix round. Seems like there's quite a bit of liquid still left in there, but the fruit will soak it all up. Right, so I've got a sterilised jar here. Get that out of the way. And I'm just going to start filling this jar. Might not fill it all the way up, but I'll continue to do that until it's all full up, guys. Right, so that's Christmas prep day 1 done. I have me carrots and parsnips with the honey on there. I have my roast potatoes here. I've got my gravy in there, and them 3 will go in the freezer. I've got my mincemeat here. Now once this has cooled down properly, then that'll go in the fridge and mature, and I think Ian's going to be doing some mince pies with that next week. So that's prep day 1 done. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. Had a lot of time in between while this was doing. So just been pottering around and I've had a lovely time. So, like I say, that's prep day 1 done. Sorry if it was a long video, but we'll get on to the next one.